You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't KIEQ on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't KIEQ on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't KIEQ on the mic.
Bears fans, a big training camp shock is coming. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of KIEQ on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Bears fans, make sure you also do me a huge favor by also liking today's episode of KIEQ on the Mic. Bears fans, as you guys can already tell, I am not at my normal studio, my normal setup. I am recording in my car. For today's episode of KIEQ on the Mic, I wanted to make sure I got this news out to you because I found it very intriguing, and I found it on social media just a couple of hours ago, and I want to make sure I shared it with you guys on today's episode of KIEQ on the Mic. Everyone knows that training camp will be starting the next couple of weeks for the Chicago Bears, and every year, Bears fans, the one thing to remember about training camp is to expect the unexpected. However you envision the roster playing out for the Chicago Bears, go ahead and throw that envisionment out the window, because no one never knows what's actually going to happen and who's actually going to make this roster for the Chicago Bears. Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus made it very clear that they wanted competition everywhere, on every level of this roster, at the running back position, on the defense side of the football as well. They want to make sure these guys are competing at the high level and making sure they get the best 53 guys on this roster. And if you want a spot on this Chicago Bears roster this year, you will have to earn it. So when you look at the current state of the Chicago Bears roster, Bears fans, some starting jobs are still up for grabs, such as the defensive end opposite of Montez Sweat. The Chicago Bears are still looking for a quality starter. Of course, you have fifth-round rookie in Austin Booker. You have DeMarcus Walker. Maybe you can go with Dominique Robinson as well. Maybe they go get back Unique Ngakwe. Who knows what's going to happen? So that position of defensive end opposite of Montez Sweat is still up for grabs. You also can look at the center position as well. Obviously, they picked up Shelton in free agency. You can also look at a guy like Ryan Bates that also has some experience at the center position as well. But here is where the shocker is going to happen during the Chicago Bears training camp. According to Adam Johns of The Athletic, he dropped a tiny bombshell indicating that the Bears fans should keep a close eye on right guard position as well when training camp opens up for the Chicago Bears later in July. He had this to say, Bears fans. Offensive line coach Chris Morgan said center is an open competition between Bates and Shelton, but my gut feeling is that there will also be a competition at right guard in training camp. The Bears will tell you they're searching for their best 5 linemen. That could be Shelton at center and Bates at right guard over Nate Davis. But the most compelling storyline could be Odunze is healthy and ready to compete to play. So first and foremost, Bears fans, just on my opinion on Karan Odunze, first and foremost. He is a rookie. He is dealing with the injury. They knew about the injury prior to drafting him. Even if he is healthy and ready to play, I still think he is a 1-year developmental project. I think he, if developed the right way, could turn into a stud for the Chicago Bears offensive line. But as soon as this year, and he could prove me wrong once we get to training camp if he is healthy and ready to go, I don't think Karan Odunze is going to be ready to be a starting guard, tackle, whatever he's going to play for the Chicago Bears this season for the Chicago Bears offensive line. And in regard to right guard Nate Davis, this is not a shock whatsoever. Nate Davis has missed a lot of time last year. He's missed a lot of time this year at OTAs and minicamp, and I'm pretty sure he's going to miss some time during this year's training camp as well. He also missed a lot of time last season dealing with injuries. The guy could never stay healthy. And when Nate Davis did play and was actually healthy enough to play for the Chicago Bears offensive line, he was very inconsistent player for the Chicago Bears at right guard. So it makes a lot of sense that the Chicago Bears are not guaranteeing anything to Nate Davis. Here's the frustrating thing about right guard Nate Davis. The Chicago Bears gave him a 3-year, $30 million contract last year, and that is looking like a bust of a signing for Ryan Poles. I want to say this first and foremost, as a Bears fan, I am still rooting for Nate Davis. I understand that he had some personal issues going on as well. But when you're looking at when he was available for this team, he was a very inconsistent player last year for the Chicago Bears when he was on the field. And plus, when you look at the injuries, he has been unable to consistently be there for the Chicago Bears offensive line. So it makes a lot of sense why Adam Jans is saying that this can be a compelling story that Nate Davis is not guaranteed to be the right guard for the Chicago Bears. And when you look at their options, I can definitely see Shelton being the starting center for the Chicago Bears, and I can see Ryan Bates being the starting right guard. Here's the interesting thing about Ryan Bates. They traded a 5th-round pick to the Buffalo Bills in order to get Ryan Bates here to Chicago. It's a guy that Ryan Poles has been heavy on for the longest time. And yes, Ryan Bates also has some experience at the center position as well, but primarily he's played a lot more at the right guard position, and he's actually been pretty good at the position as well while playing for the Buffalo Bills. So the Chicago Bears definitely have some flexibility to basically say, hey, Nate Davis, if you don't get your crap together, you will not be starting. It does not matter how much money we gave you. You are not guaranteed a starting job for the Chicago Bears offensive line. Once again, it does suck because we did pay him a whole lot of money, 3 years, $30 million last free agency, for him to be an upgrade at the right guard position. But overall, Nate Davis has been a huge disappointment for the Chicago Bears offensive line. And it seems to me that the Chicago Bears are starting to get fed up or a little bit impatient with a guy like Nate Davis. So this makes all the sense in the world. I don't think it's a huge shock that Nate Davis is not guaranteed a starting position, because at the end of the day, besides Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and maybe a couple other guys on this roster, no one is guaranteed a starting spot on this Chicago Bears roster. If you want to be a part of this team, or if you want playing time this season for the Chicago Bears, you are going to have to earn it. There's going to be a high level of competition when training camp opens up for the Chicago Bears. Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles are making that very clear. They made that very clear when they brought Shelton in during free agency. They made that very clear when they brought Ryan Bates in via trade from the Buffalo Bills. They made that very clear when they just signed DeAndre Carter to push Velus Jones as well. So this is going to be a high level of competition once training camp opens up for the Chicago Bears in July. But to me, this makes all the sense in the world. Nate Davis should definitely not be guaranteed a starting position once training camp opens up. If he comes to training camp and he can prove that he can stay healthy and he outplays Ryan Bates or Shelton as well, then yes, Nate Davis should be given an opportunity to start for the Chicago Bears, just due to the fact that the Bears did pay him a whole lot of money to be an upgrade on the Chicago Bears offensive line. But until he can prove that he can be available for this football team, no, Nate Davis should not be guaranteed a spot on the Chicago Bears offensive line. So Bears fans, before I let you guys go, let me ask you guys this. Who would you rather have start at right guard for the Chicago Bears offensive line? Ryan Bates or Nate Davis? Let me know down below in the comment section. But as always, Bears fans, make sure you continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. And make sure you share this episode of KIEQ on the Mic with every single Bears fan you know. But other than that, be back for all new Bears podcasts right here on KIEQ on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You've been listening to KIEQ on the Mic, a podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Thanks, guys, and bear down.